true sacrifice. Today I want to talk to us about the power of sacrifice. Hello? We spoke about activating God through sacrifice, but today we are talking about the power of sacrifice. That is what sacrifice accomplishes. Hallelujah. Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. Genesis chapter 3, verse 6 and verse 7. The Bible says that when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took its fruit and ate. So she also gave to her husband with her and ate. Satan tempted Eve, told her that God is lying to you. God knows that the day you eat of this fruit, you become like God. You know what is good and what is evil. As a matter of fact, what Satan was teaching Eve was that, look, why be dependent on God? It is better to be independent. Hello? Around the late 50s and early 60s, the cry of the whole of Africa was what? Independence. Are you understanding me? There was an excitement, there was joy. And in Ghana, where another side said that independence at the shortest possible time, Kwame Nkrumah said, independence now. Any in there? Are you understanding me? And when we look back, we wish that maybe we should have delayed our independence maybe for some 20 years. Or 30. Because see, when we look at a place like South Africa, today everybody wants to go to South Africa. It has become the Europe of what? Africa. So there's something, and so Satan was teaching Eve, you don't have to be dependent on God, but you must be independent. He said, when you eat this fruit, you become like God, and you know what is good for me. You know, when the moment you know what is good and what is evil, which means that you don't need anybody now. You do what is good, and you avoid what is evil. Are you understanding me? You do what is good, and then you avoid what is evil. But see, the way God created Adam, God did not create Adam to be independent of him. Adam need to know God's mind and then execute God's mind. Adam was not working with the knowledge of what is good or what is evil. Adam was working by the will of God. He was in tune with the Spirit of God. So God's Spirit will guide him and lead him as to what was God's will, and then he will execute it. But Satan said, you're all wrong. There's something that God wants you to be independent. So let's go to the next. So the Bible said that the woman saw the tree. Let me tell you, sometimes you know somebody, you respect the person, you revere the person. Somebody can tell you something about that person. From that day, when you see the person, everything changes. Has that happened to you before? Yeah. And that person that did that to you was a devil. Anybody that will bring you to the point to lose the respect and the honor you have for somebody, that person is a devil in your life. Let me come again. Any person that will let you lose the respect and the honor and the value you have for somebody, that person is a devil in your life. You didn't say amen to that. So let me say it again. Anybody who will cause you to lose the respect, the value, and the honor you have for somebody, that person is a devil in your life. If you don't say it, I'll repeat it. Are you understanding me? Or for example, you and your husband, you and your wife, you have a very wonderful relationship. Then somebody comes to tell you something. Moment, your husband is something or your wife is something. You know, it's a devil. And the devil has not stopped doing that. So the Bible said that when the woman saw that the tree has been there all along. She never saw that it was good for food and was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree desirable to make wise. But when the devil spoke, he said, the moment you take this, you become like God, you become independent. She said, I never knew independence was so wonderful. Today, if it was possible to be colonized again, we say that we want to be colonized. Because people are running away from the country. And you will never be accepted anywhere than in your own country. No matter who you become outside, it will not be like your own country. Hello? Are you understanding me? So, she saw what she never saw. Look at the next verse. Then the eyes of, so they took the fruit and they did what? They ate the fruit. Satan is a deceiver. You can never play the devil's game and win. It is his game. When the devil brings a game, don't play. Then the eyes of both of them were open. And they knew that they were naked. Now, what happened to them? When they took up the fruit, said their eyes were open and they knew they were naked. And they saw fig leaves together and made themselves coverings. As a matter of fact, the independence that was promised them, their eyes were open and they saw their nakedness. They saw that they were quadriculate. You know what happened to them? Adam and Eve were covered with the glory of God. The glory of God was a covering. But the moment they disobeyed God, the glory departed. Ichabod. And what resulted was embarrassment of nakedness. When the devil speaks to you, don't listen. When the devil gives you advice, don't accept his advice. Are you understanding me? Don't take the advice of the devil. It won't be easy for you. So the result was that they saw they were naked. Now, when they saw they were naked, the Bible said that they saw fig leaves together to cover, for a covering. They had to do something. So it was like crisis has entered into humanity. Crisis has come. A major problem has come. So Adam felt that we must do something about it. So they took fig leaves and they sewed them. So the first thing Adam and Eve did, they became seamstress. That's the first job. Hello? So seamstress or tailoring is the oldest profession in the world. Is there? They did what? They sew fig leaves. I don't know the needle that they use, but the Bible says they sew. Are you understanding me? So they sew fig leaves and they covered themselves. Now God came in. Now look at the verse 21. I'm building a point. Verse 21. Also, after God has pronounced judgment and curse, and God was about to drive them away, God did something for them. Also for Adam and his wife, the Lord made tunics of skin and clothed them. Adam and Eve sewed fig leaves to cover their nakedness. But the Bible says that God made tunics of skin and clothed them and covered them. This was the introduction of the concept of sacrifice. Hello? God made tunics of skin. Something or someone had to suffer for it. The skin came from an animal. For the first time, an animal had to be sacrificed. An animal had to die. So that Adam could have tunics of skin. I'm sure that it was more than one animal. Because just one animal is not enough to cover them. Hello? So, there was sacrifice. So, God introduced the concept and the principle of sacrifice. After the fall of man, God gave a message that, man, listen, the way forward for you in your fallen state is sacrifice. Somebody is not catching what I'm saying. After the fall of man, God introduced something that was not there. He said the way forward for man. Man sowed fig leaves. Man wanted to have his way forward. He said, no. It is not that. The fig leaves had to do with human effort. They had to do what? human effort. God said the way forward is not human effort. The way forward for mankind is what? Sacrifice. It's what? Now let's go to Genesis chapter 4. Genesis chapter 4, verse 1 to 5. Now Adam knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have acquired a man from the Lord. The next verse. Then she bore again. This time, his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the land. Remember I told you that the first children were twins. Hello? Okay? Is there? You are not sure? Is there? Twins, you conceive once and give birth twice. Okay? You conceive once. Sandra, do you get me? You conceive once, they give birth what? Twice. So go to verse 1. It said, Adam knew his wife, and she conceived. And she bore Cain and said, I've acquired a man for the Lord. She conceived and gave birth. The next verse. Then she bore again. She didn't conceive. She bore. So when she gave birth to the first one, the next one was inside the womb. Hello. How many want to give birth to twins? Take it 1. Take it 2. Take it 3. Take it. Mr. P, your wife has raised the hand that she wants twins. Hello. I agree with you. 5 in the making, it shall happen. Take it 1, 2, 3, 4. Why are you so annoyed with your wife? She says she likes it. Whatever you desire. When you pray, believe you shall receive. It shall happen. Mr. P said no, but I don't agree. Most of the time I say that when you have a lot of children, for example, when you have a lot of children, they have grown. It's so wonderful, it's so beautiful. But the process to get there is a question. Yeah. Can you imagine you have about 6 children, or 7 children, or 8 children? It's wonderful. Me, as siblings, we are 8. It's wonderful. Some of you, they give birth to only 1 or 2, and it's not easy for you. When your mother died, you have to bury your mother alone. But we have 8 children. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. I mean, if I have a friend, and this friend have about, I think, 9 children. They have grown. Oh, it's so beautiful. One of the daughters at the wedding, and so he sent me the picture of all his children. So beautiful. But the way to get there. I can see that Che is thinking of having 5 children. Take it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The way to get there. The way to get there is a serious process. The school fees, the looking at the books for the homework. Can you imagine about four children, all of them, they are bringing their homework. You run away. So do what you can. Okay? So what Bible said that he said Abel was what? Cain was, let's go back. Okay. Abel was a keeper, back to verse 2. Abel was a keeper of sheep. So Abel was a shepherd. Okay? So the second word was shepherd business. That was the second profession. And the third profession was, and Cain was a tiller of the farming. So the first was what? Tailoring. The second was shepherding. The third was what? Farming. These are the oldest professions. Okay? Prostitution is also a very old profession. It's very old. Very, very old. Very old. So these 2 children, these twins, they had professions. One was a shepherd. The other was what? Was a farmer. Look at the next verse. In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground. He did what? He brought an offering. Last time I told you that a sacrifice is what? An offering. But it must involve a cost. Okay? To sacrifice means to offer, to give that which is of a value. That which is what? Of a value. So what makes it a sacrifice is the cost and the value. If it does not cost you, it is no sacrifice. If it is not valuable, you know what? Sacrifice. So in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought what? An offering of, hey, don't disturb me, or then I'll take you back. It came to pass in the process of time that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to the Lord. So he brought like plantain, oranges, bananas. He offered them. There wasn't, in fact, the offering had no qualification. It was the fruit of the ground. So nothing qualified the offering. What was the, let's look at the next one. Abel also brought, look at Abel's own. There was a qualification to what Abel brought what? The firstborn of his flock. He didn't just offer, because the guy was a shepherd and this guy was a farmer. He didn't just offer any of his flock, but he brought the firstborn of his flock and of their fat. Hello? The firstborn of the flock and of their fat. And the Lord respected Abel and his offering. God rejected the sacrifice of Cain, but God accepted the sacrifice of Abel. Why? Ask somebody, why? Somebody say, was he not a farmer? So it is all right if he brought the produce of his land. And this guy, was he not a shepherd? It was all right. Why? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 4. By faith, Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice. Okay? Bible said that his sacrifice was what? It was what? Excellent. Number one, he offered it by. Number two, his sacrifice was excellent. Than Cain. Though through which we obtain witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and through it he being dead still speaks. Bible said that reason why God accepted the sacrifice of Abel and rejected the sacrifice of Cain was that, number one, he offered the sacrifice by faith. Number two, his sacrifice was more excellent. How did he offer the sacrifice by faith? The Bible says faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God, according to Romans chapter 10 verse 17. Faith comes by what? Hearing, and hearing, which means that before Abel offered the sacrifice, Abel had something. Are you with me? Before Abel offered the sacrifice, there was something Abel heard. Because you must hear before you can act by faith. You can hear. Now, I believe that their father Adam told them. They heard from Adam how God slew an animal, sacrificed an animal. How God made them know that the way forward must be through the way of what? Sacrifice. Abel had it. But the Bible said that Cain refused to respond to what he had. He chose to do what he wanted. But Abel responded to what he had. He had from the parents. So based on what he had, he offered. Based on what he had, he did what? He offered. So because he responded to what he had, Bible calls it faith. Number two, it was excellent. Because you see, the only thing that could appease God is that which involves blood. Are you with me? Are you sure you understand what I'm sharing? I'm laying the foundation of a sacrifice. So, because of that, God accepted it. So God, from all, that is why sacrifice is a universal concept. Sacrifice is universal. All over the world, from generation to generation, people offer sacrifice. It doesn't matter what they were involved in, whether somebody stop it. Somebody stop it. It doesn't matter whether the kind of religion, the kind of culture, the kind of society they come from. People offered sacrifice. So much so that even today, if you belong to the old and you want power, they tell you to do what? When people now we have what is called money medicine, otherwise known as sikedro. Okay? And some they sacrifice people in their family. I hear that usually they are the last people to die. People will be dying. I knew somebody who went to the north was going to use his manhood for sikedro. Hey. He'll be there, the wife will be there and say that the husband has got money, but he cannot perform. So all over. So when you go all over, when people want political power, today when people want political power, I remember, was it about 3 or 4 years ago, just before election, 2 cows were found dead at various junctions, and their organ, the male organ has been cut off. One was at another junction, another junction. I hear that now, some of these people who want to become celebrities, they'll go, they'll sacrifice an animal, dig the ground, put a cow or something. I hear that even today among some pastors who want to have church growth, they will sacrifice a dog. Okay? You know, dogs are very loyal. I can't bake a nuncho. Sacrifice a dog. You know? And they do things. Somebody came a radio, and the man said he was a mason. He said he was given an offer to go and do masonry. For example, to go and do a masonry. A mason, they say, oh, do a masonry job, we are going to give you 5,000. A mason. 5,000. So they just took him, they blindfolded him. They said, oh, we don't want you to know. They blindfolded him. And they went, then they went to a place. When they went, lo and behold, it was a church. And at the platform of the church, they had dug ground. And there was a pregnant woman. There was what? A pregnant woman. And his job was to cast concrete. The whole thing. And when the man saw that, he was shaking. If I came to give a testimony on one of the radio stations, he was shaking. They say, you have come too far to return. You either do it or you also join the woman there. So he had to do it. Testimony, sacrifice. Sacrifice. So sacrifice is a universal concept. From the day that God introduced the concept, it is in all, it is everywhere. Because of its powerful effect. Because of what? Its powerful effect. Sacrifice is so powerful that it is able to turn situations around. It is able to what? Turn situations around. Even God himself, he uses it. And that's why when God processes and God raised his people, God introduced the concept of sacrifices, that they need to do burnt sacrifices. There are various types of sacrifices they have to do. I mean, we have, and no matter your level of prosperity, God had to, everybody, and some you can sacrifice a dove. If you sacrifice a dove, some, and God introduced that. It's okay. I'll show you something. 2 Kings chapter 3. 2 Kings chapter 3, verse 26 and 27. Second. And when the king of Moab saw the battle was too fierce for him, and he with him 700 men who drew swords to break through to the king of Edom, but could not. Moab was under siege. They were going through battle. Israel, the king of Israel and the king of Edom had gathered together, and they were fighting them and they were destroying them. So the Bible said, when the king of Moab saw that the battle was so, how many of you have gone through some life situation where the battle is too much for you? Have you gone through life situations like that? You see that this is too tough. Now, when you come to a situation, things are too tough, you need to change your methods. Don't continue to do the same thing. It will be very foolish that you have been doing the same thing and it doesn't work. You must change your methods. So this king, when he saw that, he said, he took with him what? 700 men who drew swords so that he would break through. Still, he could not. So he had to adopt another strategy. Say strategy. The next verse. Then he took his eldest son. He took what? His eldest son, who would have reigned in his place, and offered him as a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was great indignation against Israel. So they departed from him and returned to their own land. The problem was solved. 700 men, they couldn't break through. But the moment he sacrificed, it's like God sacrificed his only begotten son, Jesus. Hello? The problem of humanity was too much. Men had gone astray. Satan had taken bondage, had taken captive. Over the years, God would send prophet, God had the people, God would send prophet. Then God used the last straw, his only begotten son. God sacrificed him. That was the end of bondage for humanity. Hello? So he offered a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was great indignation against. God was giving Israel the victory. Because of the sacrifice demanded, there was indignation against Israel. Israel had to leave. They left, and the problem was sacrifice. This man was a Gentile. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. Sacrifice is too powerful. Sacrifice can cause the impossible to become possible. Sacrifice can cause whatever is close to you to open. Sacrifice, look, can cause supernatural. Satan uses it. It's a divine principle. But Satan uses it. But everything Satan applies, he copied it from God. He copied it from God. He uses it. And so people use it. That's why when he goes to say, go and bring this, go and bring that, go and bring that, go and bring that. I don't know if a place would say, cut your right hand. People would have done it. Or say, cut your right hand. People would have done it. Are you understanding? Now, sacrifice facilitates the fulfillment of prophecy. Sacrifice have the power to facilitate the fulfillment of prophecy. There are many of us, prophecies are hanging over our heads for a long time. God gave you a promise. You know, when Israel was about to, God spoke that Israel would go into captivity for what? In Babylon for 70 years. For what? By the time Daniel found out, it had exceeded. It exceeded the thing by 30 years. God said 70 years. But it exceeded. When they were going to Egypt, God said they were going to go for 400 years. It exceeded. In the same way, there can be a promise. There can be a prophecy over your life. And it can delay. But you see, sacrifice has the power to facilitate the fulfillment of prophecy. Let's look still at 2 Kings chapter 3. Verse 17. Verse 17. Now, this is a prophecy that God gave to the people of Israel. When they found themselves in distress, they have been working as an army for days, and there was no water. So they knew they were going to die. It was a serious, no water. So God sent his servant and brought them a prophetic word. He said, "Thus says the Lord, you shall not see wind, nor shall you see rain, yet that valley shall be filled with water, so that your cattle and your animals may drink." When you hear that, you say, "Hallelujah." Are you understanding me? But look at the verse 20. Now it happened in the morning, when the grain offering was offered, sacrifice was made. They didn't just rejoice that God had said he was going to. They say it happened that when, the word is when, you have to do with time. When the grain offering was sacrificed, that suddenly water came by the way of Edom, and the land was filled with water. Sacrifice facilitated the fulfillment of prophecy. When? Tell somebody, learn how to sacrifice. Learn how to sacrifice. To facilitate. To enhance the fulfillment of your prophecy. God always recognizes sacrifice. It's amazing. God always recognizes sacrifice because it is his principle. God himself, he uses it. When he wanted to bring mankind back to himself, he sacrificed his only begotten son. When he wanted to win the whole world, you see, Jesus could have come to jump on the earth like Rambo. You know, he could have done that. Appear from the sky like Rambo. And will clear off every demonic whatever. But that is not God's principle. God's principle is what? The principle of sacrifice. So he sacrificed his only begotten. God recognized that. Now look Luke chapter 1. Luke chapter 1 from verse 1 to 7. In as much as Luke chapter 7, sorry. Chapter 7, verse 1. Luke chapter 7. Now when he concluded all his sayings in the hearing of the people, he entered into Capernaum. The next verse. And a certain centurion servant who was dear to him was sick and ready to die. Think about it. The man was ready to die. Which means he wanted to die. Most of the time, people die because they want to die. Because they go through so much pain. They say, no, it's better to die. But you must make sure that you are a Christian before you choose that path. Because they say he was sick and he was ready to die. Which means that it was just some few whatever. Then, so when he heard, that's the centurion, he heard about Jesus. He sent elders to the Jews to him, pleading with him to come and heal his servant. He said that no other centurion was a Gentile. You know, Jesus, when he came, he didn't deal with Gentiles. One day there was a Syrophoenician woman, and the Syrophoenician woman came to Jesus, and he wanted Jesus. Jesus Christ said that it is not proper to give the children's bread to dogs. He called the woman a dog. If you don't have a covenant with God, you are a dog. I say, it's not proper to give the children's bread. And the woman said, sir, even the dogs, they eat the crumbs from the table of the children. Jesus Christ said, what? He has never seen faith like that. And the woman was healed. Because she applied faith. If lack of covenant works, faith will work. And so the Bible said this man was a Gentile. He sent of the Jews to him, pleading with him to come. How can this man send elders? Because you see, the Jews, the Romans, they terrorized them, they subdued them so much that they didn't like them at all. But this man, it's like he had some favor with the elders. He could call them, say, go and talk to this Jesus for me, that you come and heal my servant. Why? Look at the next verse. And when they came, so they responded, they were going. When they came to Jesus, they begged him, earnestly saying, that the one for whom he should do this was deserving. Hey, may you deserve divine visitation. The one for whom you must come with us to go and heal the son, he was deserving. He was a Gentile, a centurion, Roman centurion. But these people, they said, this person who have sent us, he was deserving. He was deserving. So Jesus, let's go. What makes him deserving? Let's look at the next verse. For he loves our nation and has built us a synagogue. Wow. He loves our nation and has built us. That's how come he had favor with them. He has built us. He loves our nation and has built us a synagogue. Jesus said, they said, wow. Look at the next verse. Then Jesus went with them. And when he was already not far from the house, the centurion sent friends to him, saying to him, Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy that you should enter my house. The man said, go and call the man. He should come and heal my servant. But when he saw Jesus, he said, look, Lord, don't bother yourself to come to my house, because I am not worthy. Why? Look at the next verse. Therefore, I did not even think myself worthy to come to you. But say the word. Say, stand where you are and say the word, and my servant will be healed. Hey, faith in me. You remember in the account of also Kings, where this woman who lost the child, the only child, and then she went to Elisha, and Elisha said, "Oh, I'm sending my servant. My servant will go with you, so that he'll go and touch the child with a stick." He said, "Man of God, as long as you're so, if you don't go, nobody's going. Why you are here? You want to send your servant? I don't know where your servant slept in the night. I don't know whether he has faith. You must go with me." But this man told Jesus, say, just it's like Jesus was coming from Kadesh, from Circle. So when he saw that Jesus was somewhere first, he said, "Look, you shouldn't come. I am a sinner. You shouldn't come. You should just stand and speak the word, and my servant healed." Look at Jesus' response. The man said, "For I am also a man placed under authority, have soldiers under me. I say to one, go, and he goes, and to another, and he comes, and to my servant." Yes. And the man said, "Look, the reason why I don't want you to come is that me, I am a man under authority." Most of the time, people who are under authority, they know how to submit to authority. Hello? People who are under authority, they know how to submit to authority. But people who are kwakashikwa, they don't recognize and value authority. Anybody who's under authority, anybody who has authority, when he sees authority, he respects authority. He said, "Me, I'm authority. I'm a centurion. And as a centurion, I have soldiers under me. I can tell any soldier under me to do whatever I want to do, then he'll do it." He said, you are a demon master. Sicknesses are under you. Diseases under everything in this world are under you. So the fact, if I can send my servants, do this and they will do, you to whatever you say do, it will happen. Have faith in Jesus. The next verse. When Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him and turned around and said to the crowd that followed, "I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not in Israel." The Bible said that his servant was healed in that very hour. But the whole thing was that this man had sacrificed for God's people. He had sacrificed. He had built them a synagogue. Because of that, the Lord himself found that he was worthy to experience a divine visitation. Because of his sacrifice. Because of his sacrifice. Are you worthy of divine visitation? You see, the sacrifice of Jesus is the ultimate sacrifice. It is what? Through the sacrifice of Jesus, God made a covenant with us. But covenants are made by sacrifice. Read after me. Again. What talk about covenant? A covenant simply means the coming together. There's a difference between covenant and contract. Covenant involves the exchange of persons. Contract involves the exchange of promise. Okay? Covenant what? Involves the exchange of persons. So when a person makes a covenant with another, the person says that now your case is my case. Whatever you are involved in, I am involved in. Your battle is my battle. Your problem is my problem. As a matter of fact, if somebody is fighting you, the person is fighting me. So it's an exchange of persons. That's why when Jonathan made a covenant with David, he removed his garment, he removed his weapon, he gave it to David. From that moment, he said that, look, whoever I am, you are. Whoever you are, I am. So it's an exchange. That's why marriage is a covenant. Hello? Many of us, we don't understand that. That's why marriage is a covenant. So the man is saying that from today, your burden is my burden. Your worry is my worry. Your fear is my fear. But as a matter of in marriage, it's not so. I had an account, one woman told me some years ago there was an earthquake. And she saw the husband. There was a big table. He didn't say, Oni, come. He ran away, left the wife and children, and went under the table. Hey, that's not common. Hello. You can know whether there's a covenant when there's a crisis. Are you understand? So when it comes to a promise, that's one. Okay, like I'll do this based on when you have done this. I'll do this for you on the condition that you do this. But covenant is a joining together. That's why when a woman marries a man, she loses his identity. Today, people think they are too smart. So when you are married, maybe you are called Odilia Ofori. You say, I'm not called Odilia Ofori in Tiamwa. Come on, get lost. Get lost. Odilia Ofori in Tiamwa. Let Ofori get lost. Today, they even bring the husband, so make it Odilia and Tiamwa Ofori. Get lost. Tell somebody, get lost. Because Jesus Christ, when we had a covenant with Christ, we lost our identity. We lost our identity and we took the identity of Christ. His name was upon us. But we are named by the name of the Lord. So when we had a covenant with the Lord said that from today, anybody that will touch you is touching me. Anybody that will touch you will touch me. When God made a covenant with Abraham, he said, I will bless them that bless you. I will curse them that will curse you. Whatever concerns you, it concerns me. Are you understanding me? Yeah. How did I enter into all that? It's a bonus. Honor. Are you understanding? So, covenants made by sacrifice. Covenants are made by what? Jesus had to sacrifice his life to make a covenant with us. And in Psalm 50, verse 5, it said, gather unto me my saints who have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Number one, when you become a Christian, God enters into a covenant with us through the sacrifice of his son Jesus Christ. So God ushers us into a covenant, a new covenant. But you must also come to a point for you to also enact and initiate a covenant with God. And that one, it also involves sacrifice from your end. Sacrifice. Hallelujah. One day, I was listening to a woman of God. She said her special assistant was dying from cancer. She was at the hospital, but the color of the skin have changed. She was dying. Doctors have given up. She was just there. She was just dying. She has been praying for this woman, praying for this woman, praying for this woman. Then she heard God tell her, he said, that lady, her altar is empty. God said what? Everybody has an altar. He said her altar is empty. So the woman went to the hospital and told the woman that this is what God is saying, your altar is. And the woman said, she herself, God has spoken that to her. So she told the woman that, I want to empty my bank account. So she requested that he should bring her checkbook, and she signed and emptied the bank account and told the woman of God that go and get a man of God, whatever, and offer that as a sacrifice for me. When that thing was done, the woman checked herself out of the hospital. She discharged herself. That was the end of her problem. That was the end of her problem. You see, it takes faith. Abel, he offered by faith. She heard. That woman, what she heard. God said, your altar. Let me tell you something. Some of these people, there are sometimes some people who want to fight. Maybe you have somebody, the person considers as an enemy. Maybe you are working in an office, and the position, people who work in office, it's not easy for them. Oh. The position you are occupying, the seat you occupy, somebody wants the seat. Especially if you are the boss. Somebody wants it. Like Auntie Wendy, she's the HNO of. Hey, you know how many people want the place? Hey, you know easy. Because you see, when you enter the post is sweet. I remember I went to your office. Hey, there's a particular chair, but it's like that chair, you sit on it to think. Very, very comfortable. You sit on that chair to think. Hey, position is sweet. Oh. And certain facilities, certain, now people will just salute you like that. You can ask her, now she flies first class. Don't you fly first class? You came from UK, was it yesterday? Didn't you come in first class? Aye. Do you know what is first class? Some of you have not even flown before. Receive the grace for flying in the name of Jesus Christ. At least you can start with Accra, Kumasi, Accra. It's a start. Can you imagine that? The kind of, so people are so envious, and people will do everything to ensuit. So some of them, they'll travel and go to Benin. Interestingly, last year when I went to Benin, some of the pastors, they were saying that they have heard that Ghana, if you want power, you come to Ghana. I said, you don't mean it. I said, no. We will believe that if you want power, you go to Benin. Then later they said that if you power for church is Ghana, power for every other thing is Benin. Yeah. Hey, it's the headquarters. So people go to consult, and they go to offer sacrifice. So what happens is that people will raise an altar. They'll go and offer sacrifice, so that they will divine to fight you and to do things against you. But you must also have an altar and raise an altar to God. So altar versus altar. Tell somebody, altar versus altar. Yeah. From the time that Jesus Christ died for us, he sacrificed his life for us. The way forward. In fact, the sacrifice of Jesus has given us the upper edge. So the way forward is the way of sacrifice. Is the way of sacrifice. One day I was listening to one man of God, Dr. Mike Meadow. He said he had a house. About $350,000 worth of the value of the house. He said he wanted to give the house to a pastor in the locality. For example, like Matayeko, and you have a house in Matayeko. So you want to give the house to a pastor in Matayeko. So you're just looking around and trusting God for who to. He said he got a shock of one day God told him that there is nobody in this community who qualifies to receive that house. So which means we qualify for it. The man said, I have a house I wanted to give out. God said, nobody is believing him by releasing sacrifice for me to cause you to give that house to that man. So hold it. I'll direct you to where you must take it. Ow. Which means a lot of things, they come and they hang on us because our altar is empty. You know, after last week Sunday, all of a sudden I wanted to stop this subject. I said, enough, I don't want to preach about it. I don't know. I didn't want to preach it. So this morning I was preparing another message. Then Mama came to the Mama said, oh, last week Mama was not here. So last week, did I preach the message? They said, but you continue, eh? I hope you continue. I said, oh, I felt that it's enough. I don't know why, but I said it's enough. So when he said, but you continue. No, it's good. You have to continue. I said, okay. Then I put the other one down. Because when God is, there are so many ways God can talk to you. Hello? There are so many ways God can talk to you. That's how I'm preaching this message. And so it was no more activating God's power through sacrifice, but by what? The power of what? Can you imagine if I didn't preach this message? Are you not getting blessed? I see that faith is coming to you. God told the man that nobody qualifies. Nobody, because nobody is believing him. Nobody has sacrificed. See that? Most of you have asked for prayer. You know how to pray. Can pray. We have prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. But I came to realize from the Bible that there are sometimes there must be addition to prayer. Tell somebody there must be addition to prayer. There must be addition to prayer. Let me show you some. In Mark chapter 9, I think verse 29 or so, Jesus Christ, when he came to the valley from the Mount of Transfiguration with Peter, James, and John, he saw the disciples, and there was a man, and there was somebody who was an epileptic. The man came to Jesus and said, I brought my son to your servants, and they prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. The problem was not being solved. So Jesus Christ said, how long shall I be with you, O ye of little faith? They just commanded the spirit to leave the child. The child fell down home and then was delivered. Then, after the whole thing, then they told Jesus, say, Jesus, why? Jesus Christ said, this kind, it cometh forth by prayer and fasting. So there's addition to prayer. Then when you go to 1 Kings chapter 10, 1 Kings chapter 10, Bible said there was a man, there was a centurion who was called Cornelius. One day the angel of the Lord came to him, and the angel said, your prayers and your almsgiving have come before God as a memorial. It said your prayer and your almsgiving. That's all. It's only prayer I've been praying. Your prayer and your prayer and your prayer and your. Then when you go to Philippians verse 6, it said, be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving. So there are sometimes praise must be added to prayer. So it is not only, tell somebody it's not only prayer. There's sometimes when it's only prayer, it's not working. And last week was it last week I was sharing about Hannah. Okay? Hannah. Every year they will go to the temple. They go go and pray. And her rival was just, as for her rival, her worship songs were full of insinuations. And so those of you who stay in compound houses, they like quarreling, you know? And they are full of, you know what is insinuation? Ekutia. Now they are having some type of cloth. Don't cloth their messages. True or not true? Any brain soldier. And what again? Some of the clothes, most of you don't wear clothes, so you don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, and what again? You don't wear clothes. Odilia, you don't wear clothes. You always wear dress, so you don't know what I'm talking about. Anybody? Amen. Are you on a kutia? Insinuation. So we can. I heard a very funny story. All my stories are true. There was this pastor's wife, and there was this lady, and it was like the pastor was fooling with the lady. So they were all together in the church, and the pastor's wife, lifted the song. Orange eye me, orange eye me. Are you understanding? It's a worship song, but as a matter of fact, it's a kutia. And the other lady also, if I forgot it, also lifted the kutia song. It's a song, but it's that. Don't let your worship song be insinuation. That was what Hannah's rival was doing. Every year she would go to the temple, she would go and pray. Every year she would go. But the pastor, this time around, when she went to the temple, he said, "Oh God, if you give me a son, I will give the son back to you." Bible says when they went, the husband knew her, and she gave birth to a son called Samuel. She added giving to her prayer, and it went. Hello, are you understanding me? It went. So sacrifice is a very powerful concept. It's a concept that it opens the heaven. Anything that has defied human effort, that has defied human ability, the moment the concept of sacrifice goes in, God said that man in this world, in this fallen state, when you go to Genesis chapter 8, verse 22, after Noah had sacrificed, and then God said, he said, whilst it remains. God said what? Whilst the earth remains. Seed time and harvest. Cold and heat. Winter and summer. And day and night shall not cease. Oh, go to heaven, there will be no sacrifices. Hello? But after the fall of man, the way forward is sacrifice. So if you want to attract the move of God upon your life, the way for this. Now, when I talk about sacrifice, it involves anything. It involves your life, your resources, your time. In fact, you cannot make any forward advancement in life if you don't sacrifice. Some of you, your time, God has no part in your time. God has nothing to do with your time is your own. So I say we now have a Christianity of convenience. If it's convenient, I will do it. But God recognizes sacrifice. And in Hebrews chapter 6, verse 10, it said, God is not unrighteous to forget your labor and work of love, which you have shown towards his name. God is not unjust to forget your work and labor of love, which you have shown towards his name, in that you have ministered to the saints and do minister. He said he's not unrighteous, which means that forgetfulness is an act of unrighteousness. Most of the time we are forgetting what God has done for us. So forgetfulness, tell somebody, forgetfulness is an act of unrighteousness. God is not unjust. God is not unrighteous to forget your labor. And some of you even forget what somebody has done. There's some people, you have done good, but the next moment you don't know what they remember, and they will turn their, hey, I remember years ago, we were staying somewhere, and when we were moving from where, there was a particular couple, we gave them, I remember we had a standing fridge. We released so much to them. We just gave. After some years, we heard of this lady. She was speaking against us. Hey! Speaking against us. So not quite long, we heard that the lady has lost the father. Was it the father? The father. So she has lost the father. We know the father. So let's go and visit. So we went to the house. To my shock, the water she has been drinking from is from the fridge. Hello? Not that the fridge was spoiled. So I said, so this person, why she is drinking water from the fridge? That's it. They tell that the fridge that you are drinking from, the people you are insulting is the fridge. Hey! That's why some people, they die before their time. Because as you begin to do that, as you are drinking the water will begin to poison you and poison you and poison you. When somebody does you good, somebody does you kindness, don't pay the person evil for good. Most of the time, we easily forget. We are human beings. We easily forget. You easily forget how good the person has been to you, how kind the person has been to you. Some of you, the level you have gotten to is a result. Let me tell you, someone say, it is not that person, but look, who God has ever come on the earth and God has opened door for you before. God will also always use a human being. God will always use a human being. But we easily forget. A pastor friend of mine, there was this young man, he was carrying concrete. They call it what? Pong pong. He led the guy to Christ. The guy became born again. He brought him to church. He was teaching him. I mean, he was discipling him. So the guy was just knowing the Lord. At a point, he realized that no, this guy, he wants to sponsor him to Bible school. So he took him to Nigeria, the late Archbishop Dawose's Bible school. He sponsored him to Bible school. And he finished. He came back to Ghana and he made him a pastor. He made him a pastor. He opened a branch for him. And then with time, the man just rebelled against the pastor. He took the branch, took the church. They began to tell people that this man, before I knew him, I was my own man. Anybody who say that is a sure sign that before he met you, if you're your own man, you won't even say it. He said, before he met me, I was my own man. Your pongpo is you're your own man. I was my own man. We easily forget. When we have come to terms and it's like our circumstances have changed and things have changed, and then you are calling yourself actually. Then you begin to speak evil of the person who has helped you. Everybody needs somebody. For anything to happen in your life, God will use somebody. So don't be a forgetful person. Don't forget. Don't forget. Most of the time, pastors suffer a lot along these things. Pastors, hey. So we are used to it. You take somebody who's nobody, you bring the person, you bless the person, you help the person, and then the person just point and say, Onye, 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 onye. Hey! When they do this, these days they don't do it again. When a guy woman say, it's a message, onye, onye, onye. Okala dogbe. Here, fefle. Okala dogbe. But what can you do? We call it occupational hazard. It's part of the work. It's part of the work. Quite recently, somebody called me. I said, Pastor, and I've missed you, and I'm calling you, and this and that. He said, you were with me, and you ran away. Say, I've missed you, calling me. Hey, this work. Yeah. Do you understand me? So, sacrifice is so powerful. I think I must end here. Rise up on your feet.